The truth about Kobbie Mainoo is being hidden from you. Manchester United is making one catastrophic mistake with their best young talent. I uncovered the shocking tactical secret that is destroying his career. But the final reason they are sabotaging him, revealed at the end, will make your blood boil. You need to see this. Under the cold floodlights of Old Trafford, Kobbie Mainoo sits on the bench with hood pulled tight around his face, watching minutes slip away from a game he was once expected to dominate. The crowd roars and groans in waves, but his eyes are fixed on the pitch as if searching for a reflection of himself that is no longer there. This young man, who only months ago was hailed as the heartbeat of Manchester United's future, is now waiting for scraps of playing time, trapped in a tactical system that seems to have forgotten he exists. It is here, in the hollow silence between the chants, that the story of Mainoo becomes more than personal. It becomes a reflection of Manchester United itself, a club that once embodied youth, daring, and identity, but now staggers under the weight of its own contradictions. For a club that prided itself on bringing through legends, Mainoo's current exile cuts like a betrayal. Manchester United's entire mythology is built on names that rose from its youth academy. George Best dancing past defenders like a phantom. Sir Bobby Charlton lifting European cups. Ryan Giggs sprinting down the wing. Paul Scholes dictating matches with passes that bent space and time. David Beckham curling free kicks with perfection. The class of '92 alone stacked over 2,000 appearances and filled the trophy cabinet until the doors strained. From the Busby babes of the 1950s to the academy graduates who kept Sir Alex Ferguson's dynasty alive, United's spirit has always been tethered to the courage of youth. That is why watching Mainoo, one of the finest midfield talents England has produced in recent years, chained to the bench feels like more than mismanagement. It feels like erasure of a legacy. But before this purgatory, there was glory. There was Wembley, 19 years old, wearing red, facing Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Kobbie Mainoo did not play like a teenager. He played like destiny in boots, against rivals who made winning into a science. Mainoo stood tall, his touch assured, his movement composed, and then came the goal, a strike that cut through the noise of a divided season and gave United a trophy on the biggest domestic stage. The moment he lifted his arms in triumph, thousands of fans felt their faith return. They whispered to themselves, "This is it, the new era, the proof that the academy still breathes." That night was not just about a medal. It was about symbolism. A boy from the academy carrying the team when all else had faltered, standing in the line of succession to legends. That ascent had roots planted deep in the soil of Carrington. Mainoo joined United's academy at 9, when the game was still joy and discovery. Coaches rotated him through roles: winger, striker, central midfielder, shaping him into a player who understood the pitch from every angle. He has recalled that freedom with gratitude, speaking about how United encouraged dribbling, flair, self-expression. By 16, he was facing older opponents in the UEFA Youth League. By 17, lifting the FA Youth Cup alongside Alejandro Garnacho. Even then, whispers from Manchester City scouts circled him like sharks, but United held him close. Gary Neville, watching him play, remarked that he looked like a Manchester City player in disguise. So smooth, so intelligent, so Guardiola-esque. Yet it was United who had him. United who believed he was theirs to shape into a star. His breakthrough felt scripted for myth. January 2023, his senior debut. Cameras caught Erik ten Hag leaning down during a cup celebration, telling him his time would come. And it did. Pre-season 2023, he dazzled. November, away at Goodison Park. His first Premier League start against Everton. The atmosphere was a storm, blue shirts snarling in their own fortress. But Mainoo walked into the chaos like a man twice his age. He dictated tempo, shielded possession, played with an elegance that left pundits speechless. The Man of the Match award was confirmation. United had unearthed something rare. Between Christmas and the FA Cup final in May 2024, he became indispensable. What stood out was not just talent, but calmness. The way he slowed games, settled the midfield, imposed rhythm. At 18, he was already the one easing nerves of senior teammates. And then came Wolverhampton Wanderers, January 2024. The match stood level in the 97th minute. Nerves shaking United's composure. The ball found Mainoo, and in that split second, He delivered a finish that would belong in any striker's highlight reel. A teenager, sealing victory with ice in his veins, then lifting his hands to the crowd in a gesture of calm. "Relax," he seemed to say. "I've got this." It was not just a goal, it was an announcement. Soon after, a curling strike against Liverpool underlined his poise on the grandest stage. He was no longer just an academy prospect. He was a match winner, a maestro who could glide past challenges like Thiago Alcantara, but with a vision and intelligence uniquely his own. The culmination was Wembley, the FA Cup, the goal that sank Manchester City, the medal placed around his neck. And then, as if scripted by fate, Gareth Southgate called him to the England senior squad. Within months, Mainoo had gone from youth prospect to starter in the European Championship final. Though England lost to Spain, his very presence on that stage confirmed what everyone believed. The boy was destined for greatness. He was unstoppable, or so it seemed, but football is cruel. The 2024-2025 season shattered the rhythm. United stumbled early. Erik ten Hag was dismissed, and Ruben Amorim arrived with new ideas that did not fit Mainoo's natural gifts. The tactical blueprint shifted to a 3-4-3, and suddenly the player who had been central was peripheral. At first, he was trialed in different roles. Double pivot, number 10, even false 9. That last experiment, against Crystal Palace, bordered on farce. Amorim benched 2 strikers, Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, and pushed Mainoo up front, chasing possession over incision. Mainoo showed flashes, routed the post, link play, but Palace's defense read the script with ease. United ended the match with sterile possession, toothless in defense. It was a symbol of the chaos, of a system that had lost its balance. Mainoo, once the answer, was now miscast as a question. The cruelest moment arrived in the Europa League. A year earlier, he had shown in Europe, providing goals, assists, and composure under pressure. Yet in the knockout stages under Amorim, he never started. In the final against Tottenham Hotspur, he was introduced only in stoppage time, when the match was already beyond reach. To see one of the best young midfielders in England reduced to a token substitution was not just strange, it was insulting. United had in their possession a jewel polished by fire, and instead, they left it locked away. By now, his confidence began to fray. Amorim spoke warmly of him in press conferences, but actions told a harsher truth. Bruno Fernandes was used in deeper roles, directly cutting across Mainoo's path. Competing with the captain was unwinnable, no matter how talented he was. When Napoli came calling with a loan offer, Mainoo pushed for it, desperate for regular football before the looming 2026 World Cup. United blocked the move. Amorim insisted he was too valuable to lose, but then barely played him. It was as if United were a child clutching a toy they refused to use, yet would not allow anyone else to enjoy. And so Mainoo sat, waiting, stagnating. All of this speaks to a deeper disease within the club. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, academy graduates were not just developed, they were trusted. They were given responsibility, given the pitch as their canvas. Today, with instability gnawing at the edges, with every defeat treated as a crisis, youth has become the casualty. Amorim clings stubbornly to his structure even as results collapse. United, once feared as innovators, now appear as a parody of themselves, disjointed, indecisive, and unwilling to lean on the very traditions that built their identity. In Mainoo's sidelining, fans see not just wasted talent but wasted heritage. The record that United has fielded at least one academy graduate in every matchday squad since 1937 remains intact on paper, but in spirit, it has been hollowed. Still, what is striking about Mainoo is not just his suffering, but his resilience. He does not lash out publicly, does not break ranks with bitter words. He trains, waits, hopes. His defensive awareness continues to improve, even as he adjusts to the physical grind of the Premier League. His touch remains silk, his composure intact. He is not the fastest or strongest, but his intelligence and technique bridge every gap. In matches against City and Liverpool during their darkest campaigns, he stood firm, proving he can play against the very best. He is not flawless, no 20-year-old is, but he is reliable, the antithesis of chaos. In a midfield where others lose control, his touch steadies. That is precisely what United need most, and precisely what they are choosing to ignore. The tragedy is that this is not just about minutes on a pitch. It is about trajectory. A young player's development is a fragile flame. It must be fed by trust, by experience, by the rhythm of games. Starve it, and even the brightest spark can dim. By holding Mainoo hostage between the promise of importance and the reality of exile, United risk extinguishing something precious. He wants only what every young talent deserves: a chance to play, to grow, to make mistakes, to contribute. That he must fight this hard, after proving so much already, is a damning reflection of the club's dysfunction. And yet, the story is not finished. January approaches, and with it, another chance for a loan, perhaps even escape to Napoli that could revive his rhythm. But the pain of leaving, even temporarily, runs deep. Mainoo grew up dreaming of Old Trafford, picturing himself in red, not blue or white or sky-striped. He is a son of the club, raised in its academy, molded in its philosophy. To seek refuge elsewhere, even for a season, feels like treason to that dream. But staying, wasting away on the bench, risks more than sentiment. It risks his career, his chance at the World Cup, his rightful place among England's midfield future. In this paradox, the truth of Manchester United is revealed. Once the greatest cultivators of youth, now the uncertain stewards of their own prodigy. Once the example, now the warning. Kobbie Mainoo's plight is not isolated. It is a symptom of standards fallen, of vision blurred. To see him sidelined is to see Manchester United's decline embodied in one figure. Young, gifted, full of promise, yet shackled by confusion, politics, and mismanagement. He is a canary in a coal mine, his struggles echoing the club's collapse. And so, as he sits on the bench in the floodlights, drawn, watching another match pass him by, the question hangs heavy. What the hell happened to Kobbie Mainoo? The answer lies not just in tactical diagrams or managerial stubbornness, but in the erosion of what Manchester United once was. He remains too good to be forgotten, too important to be lost, but unless something changes, both he and the club may find themselves adrift, haunted by memories of what should have been, and what was once guaranteed. The United way. So what does this really say about Manchester United's future? Is this just poor management or a complete betrayal of tradition? Should Mainoo stay and fight for his place, or walk away to save his career? I want to hear what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe for more.